celebrations are over, and I think it's a time to talk about something a little bit more serious. And today I would like to talk about buoyancy and how to choose the proper BCD for different needs you want. There can be different needs. There can be simply, for most of you, it's traveling, and if you're traveling with your own equipment, so then it means that you're looking for something which is not that heavy, because you are really limited in the weight you can take with you. And if we keep in mind that it's BCD, regulate the fins, wetsuit, and you cannot take that anything else except your equipment, as only shorts and one t-shirt, just simply because you always are exceeding the limit of every company weight requirement. If we're moving a little bit back into the history, then in the very beginning, all the divers was diving without BCDs. There was only harness which keeps your tank on your back. That's it. There was no any buoyancy control devices. The only buoyancy control device was your lungs. That's what I'm actually teaching all my students, that the primary buoyancy control device is your lungs, and only secondary one is a BCD. Theoretically, if you are properly weighted, you don't need the BCD down to some 30 meters. Depends of your body density, but you need to start compensating buoyancy only about 20 plus meters. In the past, I've been experimenting with my buoyancy a lot, probably under the impression of all this Cousteau documentaries, where they're diving without any, even with the 2 cylinders. They're diving without any buoyancy control devices. So that's why I have some opinion. Everything you will see in the water is just to prove you that it's possible, and the buoyancy control device is more needed on a surface than underwater. And also to keep your attention how important is actually proper buoyancy at the surface, because mostly all the accidents happening not underwater but on a surface after the dive, and the people are not able to get positive buoyancy on the surface. So that's where the most diving accidents comes from. Just something to make you think about. Usually the lifting capacity of every BCD is between 15 and 17 liters. As deeper you go, as more lifting capacity you need. And that's why, for example, in the technical diving, we're using these big wings. So something you have to always keep in mind, as deeper you go, as more compressed everything becomes, the buoyancy dramatically starts to drop below 30 meters. And as deeper you go, like for example for a 50-meter dive, you cannot go down with this one, just because simply with the even two tanks you will not be able to come back. So then basically you are lucky if there is a slope, you are lucky if there is a wall, you will just crawl it up. To keep in mind, please don't do this one as a primary thing. You think that you have a harness and now you will have a sign mount. It's just a temporary thing, and this is a way how I can do it, because in my back plate there are the holes where can I put the bungee in, and then it works. But remember, this is not the sign mount. Of course, we're always thinking about how to make something universal. But whatever is universal doesn't work for anything. It's just kind of working, but when it comes to some emergencies, it definitely doesn't. So don't do it. This is only for just to show you how the buoyancy works. As you can see here, I'm okay as long as I'm going down to some 5 meters. So my lung volume, which is about 7 liters, is enough to maintain natural buoyancy. And it feels really comfortable actually, because now I can just hover horizontally easily. But then I'm going a little bit deeper, and since there is more pressure, so my buoyancy drops down, and I'm kind of have to keep in my lungs a lot of air, quickly inhale and then slowly exhale. So the lung volume is almost all the time full, and that gives me also natural buoyancy. Then when I'm going a little bit deeper, so then it's kind of, and then I can go down to, for example, personally me with the 2 tanks and no any buoyancy control device, I can manage natural buoyancy down to 30 meters only with the help of the lungs. When I'm coming to the surface, see, I have to keep my lungs all the time full. I'm holding the breath, then I can stay on the surface. As long as I exhale, I'm going down. Then I attach to my harness this small pouch, like 3 liters pouch or BCD. So I attached this pouch to my harness. If I went down around 10 meters, it felt way more comfortable. But then when I ascend and try to stay with it held on the surface, it didn't really work. Again, it was way easier. So I was able to inhale, hold my breath. It felt really comfortable. Then when I exhale, that pouch still doesn't hold me on the surface. So I'm still going down, way slower than with only my lungs, but still not okay. When you choosing these BCDs based on the size, let's say extra small size, and when we go in the water, so then the lifting capacity for the BCD is not enough to keep this person comfortably on the surface. And that's another thing what you have to keep in mind, because our body density is so different, and what works for one doesn't work for another one. So something to think about definitely for all of you. For me, everything is clear. Before you choose the equipment, always keep in mind lifting capacity is really important, especially on the surface. Underwater maybe it's okay, but when you come to the surface and when you have to stay on the surface, where you have no chance immediately exit on a boat or come out on the shore, you always have to keep in mind that you need this buoyancy more for surface than for underwater. All right, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe, follow, and see you tomorrow again. Bye.